I don't think so, Jade. Kasi kung titingnan mo, yun nga, malaki ang moral divide. And then walang solidarity kahit yung mga kabataan natin dito, they are divided when it comes to politics. Ang
Mm.
corruption kasi, it is of course an issue that is ethical. But at the same time, it is also a political issue because of the lack of unity and solidarity even amongst the youth. Okay? Medyo mahirap to encourage them and to entice them to join such type of violent protest.
Ngayong araw na ito, Biyernes, ay nakatakdang maglunsad po ang iba't ibang grupo ng tinatawagan nilang Black Friday protest dahil nga sa mga maanumalyang malawakan na korupsyon nga at lalo na particular itong maanumalyang flood control projects. Doc, ano bang masasabi po ninyo?
Well, ang korupsyon kasi sa Pilipinas is a systemic problem. Sa kultura kasi natin, ang bribery is parang hindi ganon ka-embarrassing ang mga bagay-bagay na kung saan even itong mga tao na may mga koneksyon sa gobyerno ay proud pa na they are well connected. And it's also historical kasi nung panahon ng mga Espanyol, they impose what we call a patronage system. And then dito na nagadepende ang karamihan ng mga tao, and because of that, they see it as something na favorable sa kanila. And so itong mga changes na ganito where you have massive protests, hopefully yung awareness ng mga tao, it is critical na they will reject all these types of, kung makikita mo, mga katarantaduhan na nangyayari sa ating government offices. Because unless people react strongly against it, parang hindi natin mahahanapan ng solusyon itong problemang ito.
Pero Doc, nakikita po ba ninyo na ramdam na ng mga Pilipino? I mean, galit na ba yung mga Pilipino? Gising na ba sila sa malawakang katiwalaan na ito sa ating gobyerno?
Well, ang problema, Jade, is actually ang concerns ng mga Pilipino is makikita natin na depende kung saang segment sila ng society belong. Okay? So, for instance, dito sa mga masa, I don't think ganun ka-aware sila and ganun para sa kanila critical itong issue sa corruption kasi ang iniisip nila, ang sikmura nila, and they realize that they have to depend on their public officials. Ang maraming reklamo na nakikita natin, for instance, sa social media ay yung nasa middle class, yung mga young professionals kasi sila ang nakaka-experience ng discomfort. But despite the fact na karamihan sa mga tao na nasasakripisyo yung buhay ay yung nasa pinakamababang sektor ng society natin, I don't think na they are that empowered para to respond to this issue so that we will be able to put a stop to this anomalous practices na nangyayari sa mga opisina ng ating gobyerno.
Opo, at kabilang nga po sa inaasahan ngang maglulunsad ng Black Friday protest ay itong mga mag-aaral ng UP Diliman, ay inanunsyo na po ng UP Diliman na sila ay magsasagawa nga ng protesta laban sa katiwalian, laban dito sa maanumalyang flood control project. Sa iyong palagay po, ano kaya ang magiging epekto po ng protesta na ito ng mga estudyante na mismo, ng mga kabataan sa publiko?
Well, may problema kasi din, Jade, kasi we have what we call a moral divide in our country. Ang karamihan sa mga nag-lead sa mga protestang ito ay tinatawag natin na they belong to the elite sector of Philippine society, including itong malalaking eskwelahan, yung elite schools, halimbawa sa Manila. Pero kung titingnan mo, karamihan ng mga tao, while they are aware, parang in terms of solidarity, in terms of unity, wala yun. And this is because also of the attitude of some people. And for that reason, medyo mahirap na i-convince nila na lahat dapat ay sumali at makibaka in order to respond to this big problem in Philippine society. So it's critical na ang mga masang Pilipino ay magkaroon ng iisang voice. Pero ang nangyayari kasi is that some segments of our society try to connect this, for instance, to the past administration, and because of that, parang nakikita nila na may political motive. Ang dapat na motive dito is to be able to put an end to corruption in Philippine society. hindi political, hindi aspeto na kung saan matitingnan mo is you want to get back sa previous administration, because otherwise, if that becomes the case, then hindi mo makukuha yung unity and solidarity that is crucial in order to address the problem.
Opo, kasi nakikita, naobserbahan po kasi natin, Doc, lalo na sa social media, lalo itong mga protestang isinasagawa sa mga nakalipas na mga araw, may ibang grupo nagpo-protesta sila laban sa katiwalian, pero ang gusto nilang mapanagot ay mga Dutertes. Meron namang isang paksyon o isang grupo na gusto nilang mapanagot ay Marcos Romualdez at iba pa sa kasalukuyang administrasyon. Yan po ba yung ibig pong niyo sabihin na nagkakaroon ng division, kaya hindi masyadong epektibo, hindi ganoon ka-epektibo ang itong mga protesta sinasagawa dahil sa nakalipas na panahon talagang malawakan din yung mga protesta at panawagan laban sa korupsyon ng ating pamahalaan?
Well, kung titingnan mo ang narrative dito sa mga investigasyon sa Senado, sa Kongreso, it has become obvious na merong mga interes na prinoprotektahan. And so that is a problem. Unless you go into and try to uproot the root of all evil, ang simula nito is actually yung mga budgetary insertions. They identify the projects and then assign it to a particular place, and then yung mga DPWH officials, sila ang gumagawa ng mga bogus na mga documents, and then they connive with the contractors na sila ang nagpapa-encash ng mga cheque as payment for these ghost projects. Pero kung titingnan mo, ang pinakapunot dulo nito is something na nandyan, alam natin kung nasaan. And then if we do not dig deeper into that, parang mahirap siya ma-address. Kasi you see, we had Janet Lim Napoles in the past, and then nakulong siya. But some public officials have been spared. So yung mga corrupt na DPWH officials, yung mga contractors that they have connived with, pwedeng mapalitan yan kasi mga dispensable yan. Pero yung mga powers that be, yung dapat ang tutukan ng kung anumang investigasyon so that we can finally put an end to this issue.
Opo, kung ikukumpara mo naman, Doc, sa ibang bansa tulad ng Nepal at Indonesia, nagkaroon ng marahas na protesta, ano bang mas masaklap, mas malalang korupsyon? Dito ba sa bansa natin o sa kanila?
Well, unang-una, tingnan natin ang pinaka-reason bakit nag-protest ang Gen Z sa Nepal. Okay? Ang pinakaunang reason is parang pinagbawalan sila kung hindi registered yung kanilang account sa mga social media platforms. And kasi para sa Gen Z, itong social media, ito ang pinaka-weapon nila to react, to voice out their sentiments and opinion against government and hearing officials. And then, naturally, kasi pinagbawalan sila, this means na parang tinanggalan sila ng karapatan. And as a result, naging parang motive nila yun para, to really show to the world na corruption is something that has become endemic sa bansa nila. If we compare yung bansa natin sa Nepal, of course, primarily ang bansa natin is, I suppose, mas may advantage economically. Kung titingnan mo from the perspective of human development compared to Nepal, for instance, yung Indonesia, ang korupsyon doon is something that is cultural, parang tanggap na ng tao. But ang Gen Z, they have a new kind of consciousness. Ito ang mga bata na kung saan they are influenced by those things that they find online, they read a lot compared to the past generation na kung saan we simply accept things kasi yun ang nakasanayan. So itong mga batang ito, I suppose they are using their power, and then the capacity that they have, so on the basis of their education, para they will be able to respond strongly against corruption in their countries.
Opo, pero sa palagay po ninyo, Doc, ang nangyari dyan sa Indonesia at Nepal, possible bang mangyari din dito sa ating bansa?
Well, as of the moment, I don't think so, Jade. Kasi kung titingnan mo, yun nga, malaki ang moral divide, and then walang solidarity. Kahit yung mga kabataan natin dito, they are divided when it comes to politics. Ang corruption kasi, it is of course an issue that is ethical. But at the same time, it is also a political issue because of the lack of unity and solidarity even amongst the youth. Medyo mahirap to encourage them and to entice them to join such type of violent protest.
Opo. Bago ko lang ipasa kay partner Admardo, yung role o papel, malaki bang papel ng mga kabataan, partikular na, lalo na yung mga mag-aaral para sa paglaban natin sa katiwalian dito sa ating bansa?
Well, sa ngayon, yung political consciousness of the youth, kung titingnan mo, it is critical. But in terms of impact and effect, not that much. Okay? But it is relevant and for that reason, significant that they involve themselves in politics. But kung titingnan mo kasi ang sektor ng politika sa Pilipinas, it's regionalistic. Okay? So, and then, yung bansa natin, it is an archipelago. So meaning to say, disarticulated, not only yung ekonomiya natin, disarticulated din yung tinatawag natin na political consciousness ng mga kabataan. And for that reason, because of that division, kasi yung mga kabataan, halimbawa sa Mindanao, they are in particular aware, okay, of the injustices committed against Mindanao. And for that reason, they are also fighting for the legacy of former President Duterte. And then the youth in Metro Manila, a lot of these people, of course, so see Mindanao as not really that significant in terms of its contribution to the political consciousness in this country. And for that reason, because of that bias and prejudice against Mindanao, yung mga kabataan dito, you cannot find them so in unison when it comes to kung ano yung mga aksyon na pwedeng gawin. So ibig sabihin, if an elite school, for instance, leads a type of protest, it doesn't mean na yung mga matatawag natin na secondary schools, halimbawa, yung nasa second tier colleges and universities ay sasali din. And the reason for that is that there is a deep moral divide in Philippine society. Hindi lang sa mga nasa like adult stage na kanilang buhay, but even itong mga kabataan natin, because yung political consciousness natin is formed by our history, tradition, and culture.